Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into a YouTube video that a listener sent in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's called "How Your Broke Friends Are Keeping You Poor"
Mm-hmm.
by a YouTuber named Odetta Rockhead-Kerr.
Okay.
Have you heard of her?
I have not.
Okay, yeah. She's got a really bold style.
Okay.
What I like about her is she gets right to the point.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to try to pull out some of those like really useful pieces of advice from her video
Yeah.
and um, and figure out how to spot advice that might actually be holding us back
Okay.
when it comes to finances.
Sounds good.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So Ogeta starts off by talking about something that she calls the real world experience gap.
Okay.
And she talks about how in college, she had this lecturer who discouraged her from pursuing her dream of
Mm-hmm.
being a vendor
Okay.
because he thought it was beneath her.
Wow.
But this lecturer had zero entrepreneurial experience.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's like somebody trying to tell you how to play the piano, but they've never actually played. They've just
Nice.
read about it.
Yes. And this idea of you need to have walked the walk in order to talk the talk is so important.
Absolutely. Especially in fields like business and finance.
Right.
I mean, where practical knowledge trumps theory every time.
Yes. And this resonated so much with me because I remember when I was first starting out as a freelancer, I would get
Mm.
so much advice from people who had never actually freelanced themselves.
Oh, yeah. You and I both. Like, it's so easy to fall into that trap of taking advice from people who haven't necessarily achieved the things that
Right.
we're striving for.
Yeah. And even if they have the experience, sometimes that experience isn't relevant to our specific situation.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And this is where Odetta's concept of mindset mismatch comes in.
Mindset mismatch. I like that.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
So she talks about how during the pandemic, she saw this opportunity to import masks and sanitizers
Oh, wow.
while
Right.
everyone else was panicking,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I can relate to this because I tend to see possibilities even during those uncertain times.
Yeah.
But not everyone operates that way, right?
No, not at all. I think her story perfectly illustrates the difference between a scarcity mindset and a growth mindset.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Yes. So a scarcity mindset focuses on limitations and potential losses,
Okay.
while a growth mindset sees challenges as opportunities for growth and innovation.
So when Odetta saw the pandemic as a chance to provide this product that everyone needed,
Right.
she was operating from that growth mindset, whereas other people were stuck in that scarcity mindset.
Exactly. And this difference in mindset can really impact our financial decisions.
How so?
Well, someone with a scarcity mindset might hesitate to invest or take risks, even when the potential rewards are high,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
They're constantly playing defense, trying to avoid losses. But someone with a growth mindset, they're more likely to embrace challenges and see the potential for gains, even if it involves some level of risk.
Okay, so this is a good question for our listeners.
Mm.
When you think about new opportunities, do you tend to focus more on what you could lose or what you could gain?
That is a great question. It really does reveal a lot about our beliefs about money and success.
Yeah. And, Odetta brings up another really important point,
Okay.
which is what she calls the negative influence trap.
Ooh, okay.
And this is the idea that people often project their own insecurities and fears onto others, discouraging them from pursuing their ambitions.
That's so true. I mean, I can think of countless times when people have tried to pour cold water on my dreams, often disguised as realistic advice.
Right. And what I've learned is that their negativity often stems from their own limited beliefs,
Absolutely.
not from any actual knowledge about what is or isn't possible.
Right. And it's so important to remember that negativity can be incredibly contagious.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's important to be open to feedback.
Right.
But we also need to protect our confidence and motivation, especially when we're pursuing something new and challenging.
Yeah, and this can be tricky because sometimes this negative influence comes from the people we care about,
That's true.
our friends, family members, even mentors.
Yeah.
So how do we kind of navigate that?
It's about learning to discern between constructive criticism and negativity that's rooted in fear or limiting beliefs.
I like that.
Constructive criticism is offered with the intention of helping us grow,
Okay.
while negativity is often fueled by the other person's own insecurities or a desire to keep us small.
And Odetta, she has this great analogy to illustrate this point even further.
Oh, I love her analogies. Let's hear it.
She talks about the difference between a marathon runner and a sprinter.
Okay. Yeah.
They have completely different training regimens and strategies for success.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally different.
So advice that's perfect for a marathon runner might be disastrous for a sprinter. And in the same way, advice that's not tailored to our specific goals and circumstances can actually be counterproductive.
Yeah, this highlights the importance of what Odetta calls goal alignment.
Okay.
It's not just about seeking advice from people who are successful.
Right.
It's about seeking advice from people whose goals and values align with our own.
So it's about finding those mentors and advisors who have already achieved what we aspire to.
Yes.
And who understand the unique path that we're on. It's like having a map that's specifically designed to lead us to our desired destination.
That's a great way to put it. It's like having a personalized GPS for our financial journey.
Exactly.
Love it. So, as someone who's actively working towards their financial goals, I
Mhm.
have to ask you, are the people you're getting advice from actually equipped to guide you on your journey?
Ooh, that is a powerful question.
It is, right.
Right.
And this leads us to Odetta's final point, which is so relevant in today's world of information overload.
Okay.
And that is the danger of misinformation.
Misinformation. Tell me more about that.
Well, she warns about how much well-intentioned but totally inaccurate advice is out there, especially where it comes to finances.
Mhm.
And let's face it, following bad advice can cost us time, money, and even set us back on our goals. So it's crucial to be discerning.
Absolutely. And, she had a great story about this.
Oh, I bet she did.
She was telling a colleague about how she was going to start a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And her idea was basically just to sit and talk to the camera.
Uh-huh.
Her colleague, who had zero experience in online content creation, said, that will never work.
Wow, really?
But imagine if she'd listened to that.
I know. Thank goodness she trusted her gut and went for it anyway.
Right. She wouldn't be the inspiration she is today if she had let her colleague's limited perspective hold her back.
Exactly. And it's a good reminder that sometimes the best thing we can do is trust our own instincts and filter out the noise.
But with so much information coming at us from all sides, how can we actually become better at evaluating advice, especially financial advice?
Great question. We need to treat financial advice like detectives would treat a case. We have to look for evidence.
Okay, I like that. Tell me more.
So instead of just accepting advice at face value, we need to look at the source's credibility. Have they actually achieved what we're trying to achieve? Do they have a proven track record?
So checking their credentials, right?
Exactly.
To make sure they're qualified to give advice in that area.
Precisely. We also need to look for logic and evidence to back up their claims. Are they just sharing opinions?
Okay.
Or are they providing data research or real-world examples to support their points?
And this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because sometimes even advice that sounds logical can be biased or based on outdated information.
Absolutely. We have to remember that everyone has their own biases and perspectives, even financial experts.
Right.
So it's important to consider whether their advice is truly aligned with our own values and goals.
It's like that saying, take everything with a grain of salt. We can't just blindly accept everything we hear. We have to critically evaluate it and decide if it resonates with us and fits into our own financial plans.
What I think Odetta is getting at is this idea of taking ownership of our financial journey.
Okay.
We can't outsource our financial decision-making to others.
Right.
We have to be informed, do our own research, and ultimately make choices that feel right for us.
I love that taking ownership. It's about becoming financially empowered, not financially dependent.
Exactly. And remember, it's okay to seek guidance and learn from others, but we need to be discerning about whose advice we follow and make sure it aligns with our own goals and values.
So if we were to summarize Odetta's key points, what would you say are the most important takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I'd say the biggest takeaways are seek advice from those who have already achieved what you aspire to, recognize and challenge mindset mismatches, guard against negativity and limiting beliefs, ensure the advice you receive aligns with your unique goals, and critically evaluate all advice before accepting it as truth.
Those are some seriously valuable nuggets of wisdom.
Right.
It's amazing how Odetta can distill these complex ideas into clear and actionable advice.
She really does have a knack for cutting through the noise and getting to the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
And her direct approach just makes the information so much more impactful.
It's like getting a pep talk and a financial strategy session all in one.
Exactly. Sometimes we just need that little push to believe in ourselves and a clear roadmap to follow.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
You know, it's funny, when I think about everything we've discussed, what really stands out to me is Odetta's emphasis on surrounding ourselves with the right kind of support. People who have walked the path we're on and who genuinely want to see us succeed.
I agree. And even beyond that, it's about cultivating that inner belief in ourselves.
Yes.
Sometimes the best advice is the advice we give ourselves.
Right.
It's about trusting our intuition, taking calculated risks, and constantly learning and growing.
Absolutely. Trust that inner compass and be open to continuous learning. I love that.
And before we go, I want to mention something else Odetta said that really resonated with me.
Okay, what's that?
She said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that successful entrepreneurs aren't hanging out in YouTube comments doling out financial advice.
Haha.
They're too busy building their empires. So if we're looking for guidance,
Yeah.
we need to be really discerning about where we're getting it from.
That is such a powerful point. Be wary of free advice, especially when it comes from people who haven't achieved the level of success we're aiming for.
Exactly. And this all ties back to the importance of taking ownership of our financial education.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just passively consume information.
Right.
We have to actively seek out knowledge, evaluate it critically, and apply it to our own unique situations.
Become informed decision makers, not just followers of financial trends or gurus.
Well said. And to our amazing listener, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to think critically about the advice you're receiving and to seek out guidance from those who have achieved the kind of financial success you desire.
Absolutely.
Remember, your journey is unique, and you have the power to create the future you envision.
And never underestimate the power of trusting your instincts and believing in your ability to achieve your financial dreams. You got this.
Thanks for joining us on this insightful journey. We'll catch you on the next deep dive where we'll explore another fascinating topic together. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep breaking free from broke advice.
See you then.